Hey everybody, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Paul.
And welcome to Fan Voice episode number 10. We are officially double digits. We're a double digits podcast.
This is an exciting time for
this
us.
This is a momentous occasion. You don't get to double digits very often.
No.
Usually only once, to tell you the truth. So, this episode...
I see what you did there, you silly man.
Thank you for the pity laugh. Alright, so this episode is about Lindsey Stirling, who's totally awesome, and you saw recently in concert.
Yes.
So we'll have a whole lot to talk about then. Well, actually, you'll have a whole lot to talk about, and I'll probably ask a lot of questions, because I'm really curious how it was in concert.
Yeah, oh my goodness, it was the most incredible thing ever. But I mean, we're also talking about her new album that just came out as well,
true.
You know?
We're also talking about the new album.
Got a little bit of both, and just
dropping the album.
Lindsey Stirling as a whole.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, fantastic person.
Because she's awesome. So we'll start off with shout-outs. Kevin Madden for the GameCube adapter picture. That was awesome. I'm really glad that he found it, because I had only heard about the Invitational, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen the fact that they had, announced that at the end of the video.
Right.
For it, and I totally didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
So that picture that Kevin Madden, just sent me a little earlier today, he made it there before the flood of news,
yeah.
which was absolutely incredible. He showed me that picture, and I just commented, "Oorah!" I was super excited.
Yeah, I think we're all super excited. And then also to Carolyn and Melissa, who... Carlin, sorry, excuse me.
Carlin Harry.
Who commented on the Sailor Moon post about the Sailor Moon premiere.
Yeah, it's going to be on Crunchyroll.
Freaking cool.
And I know everyone's super excited about that. Yes. So, Carlin Herring commented, "I seriously have never freaked out as much as I have the last 2 weeks. They are even re-releasing the complete original series of 200 episodes, sub and newly dubbed on Blu-ray."
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that until she had posted that, and so when I went and saw that, later and checked out the fact that they're releasing the entire thing, and they're like she said, doing it on Blu-ray. It's pretty cool. It's by a company to do
It's
that.
pretty darn exciting. Yeah. I mean, because they don't nearly release as much re-releases as Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
Well, yeah, Dragon Ball Z gets re-released. It feels like every 6 months.
Yeah, seriously. But at the time, it seemed like they were on equal par with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting turn of events, but it's good to see that they're getting some more light now.
Yeah.
Especially with the new series coming out. It's going to be really exciting. And then Melissa Hernandez also commented, "Well, looks like I'll finally have to give in and get a Crunchyroll account."
You totally should, because it's awesome. Not just for Sailor Moon, it's just awesome in general.
Yeah, everyone has to give in eventually.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
It's like Netflix for people who like anime. It's
pretty
you
much.
can't get away with it now.
No, absolutely
Even
not.
though it is free still. But eventually you're gonna want
if you want to get to the good streaming and
exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
Alright, so let's move on to some news talking about Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon and Sword Art Online Season 2 are going to premiere at Anime Expo.
Sailor Moon is as well?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So those two shows will have screenings of sorts. There's both sponsored by Crunchyroll, of course.
Yeah.
So they'll both be there, and I'm guessing in the largest halls with a 3-hour wait time.
Oh, I have no doubt.
So, yeah, since you and me are going to Anime Expo, we're going to have to...
Should we try and venture those
I
monsters?
really want to venture into the Sword Art Online Season 2 one. Because that show's very good at generating hype.
Yeah,
and I think it'd be fun to be there with everybody, but...
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I seriously don't know if it's worth the 3 hours.
LineCon, man.
LineCon 2014. You leave one line, you enter another. That's what Anime Expo has become.
Pretty much. If you want to get into any of the popular stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, seriously.
But I mean, I don't know. A lot of the stuff we've seen so far have definitely been worth it.
No, they really have. Like, the lines, and that's why I'm thinking Sword Art, Season 2 and Sailor Moon are going to be worth seeing when you're there.
Yeah.
That's not something you really want to miss.
No, absolutely
I do like how they're doing, like, live ones now. Like simultaneous, the simulcasts.
Yeah.
And they're, like, premiering them at Anime Expo. That's pretty cool.
It is.
I really like that idea a lot. So, yeah, anyway, those will be premiering at Anime Expo.
Excellent.
Next piece of news, I guess we'll talk about Heroes of Cosplay, since the last one might take a while.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, Heroes of Cosplay, last week, just premiered their first episode. And for anyone who's a fan of cosplay, who saw the first season, probably hated its guts. And I don't blame them for 1 second, because it was just so wretched and dramatic. It seemed like they were trying to make like a cosplay Jersey Shore world or something really stupid like that. I can't even imagine. But like, it had. I was really reaching for like the good stuff about it, and I mean there are cool costumes here and there, but it just got like overrun with just everything else of the over dramatization of it. But the first episode of the new season premiered this week, or last week, I guess, and it was actually very pleasant.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it brought back a good chunk of the people from last season, but took out all the most annoying ones and basically left the ones with the best attitudes and the most talented. And there was like no drama whatsoever. It was just the creative process followed by the competition, and rather than just them saying, why didn't I win, blah blah blah, they're like, oh, these other costumes were really, really cool.
See, okay. That sounds like that's a change in producer or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like somebody made a change there or something.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I personally like to believe that Sci-Fi actually listened to their fan base and heard the cries of despair from this show and, like, how angry the whole cosplay society was at
I hope so.
What came about, what this first show was. But, I mean, this is a huge step in the right direction, I feel like. And everyone who's a fan of cosplay, check out this new season. Really, just give it a chance, because it's just the first episode, but I'm really confident into where it'll go,
Yeah, I mean, the first episode gives you a nice view of the direction it's going. So if you like the direction it's going, that's a good thing. It's it sounds really good. I have not seen it yet. I need to. I saw like 2 episodes last season and just kind of.
And it was too much.
I just checked it out. I was like, I'm not doing this.
I don't blame you for 1 second. That's okay, man.
But I do want to check out this one. Though,
this new season is looking pretty cool. Yeah. So.
All right, so the last thing on our list is about Super Smash Bros. Invitational.
So we're going to be talking a lot about it.
Yeah. So the Super Smash Bros. Invitational was a tournament that was announced, I want to say almost like 2 months ago now. That sounds crazy, but it might be that long.
It doesn't feel that long.
It doesn't feel that long, but it definitely was. And basically, Nintendo said it's going to be 16 highly skilled players. And so and then they said 16 highly skilled players, announcers, and then they said, okay, and we're going to announce all that later. So it's been like a week, or it's been like a month of me like, when are you going to say something?
I must know.
It's getting too
everything.
Close. And then the list was released. So, first of all, still an awesome list. I'm not going to complain about the fact, like, this isn't a list where they were like, celebrities. It's like,
there's only a few.
Well, and really, they're all Smash players.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody in that group is famous for being on YouTube. Nobody in that group is famous for just doing something else. Everybody in that group is either famous for something Smash related, or they're a part of the community itself.
Yeah, I saw a couple. They're like hosts of tournaments or
Well,
something
yeah, I mean,
like that.
there's
Yeah.
a bunch of tournament organizers on the list, which
Uh-huh.
I personally think is fine. I
Hmm.
think they're a big part of the community, so I get it. And there's people who have written. I mean, the girl, I wish I could remember her name, but she wrote a article about women in Smash,
Okay.
right? So she's on the list. So there
Is
are
that milk tea?
no, it's
Okay.
another one.
Okay.
So I feel like yeah, I mean the list is okay. I mean it's like it's not like a huge deal.
Ken's there.
Well, that's the thing is they still had people Hungry Box, Dr. PP, Ken, Korean DJ,
Yeah.
Pew Pew U, Toph. There are really good players. DA
Yeah.
Nintendo is on that list too.
Uh-huh.
Really good Bowser player in Melee. So there are a lot of people on that list that I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like that's a
Thank
good
you,
choice.
Nintendo. You listened.
Exactly. So I still have problems. Still have problems with the list.
I know where this is going. I think.
Where's Mango? Talk about the most dominant like Smash player in I don't even know how long, and he's not on the list.
And Mewtwo King?
Where's Mewtwo King?
Uh-huh.
Arguably the second best or best player in the world.
Yeah.
You're missing the two best players in the world at your game.
Right.
I mean, and you can't even argue Mango doesn't play Brawl. So you could make an argument, oh, maybe he's not the best Smash player. Mewtwo King is the best Smash player.
Yeah.
He is good in Melee. Mm-hmm. He is good in Brawl. He's good in Project M.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what the guy plays, he's good at Smash. So why isn't he on the list? Why isn't Mango there? Other players that are really, really good, like Hacks, like Axe, the Pikachu player, Shroom, the Dr. Mario player.
Yeah.
These are all people that are just gone. They're just absent.
Right.
Where are some more? I mean, the only overseas representation we have is Amsa, the Yoshi player, the Japanese Yoshi player.
Oh,
right?
okay.
He was invited to the tournament. Fantastic. I'm really glad. He's like a fan favorite.
That's awesome.
But where's Leffen and Armada? Because, I mean, they're two of the best right now.
There are a lot of, like, currently the best players missing from the list, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of my problem with it. Like,
do you think that maybe they wanted to stay away from like an over dominance?
You know, they might have. They might have said, okay, we're gonna have 16 players, but we don't want the 16 players to just be the 16 best players. We want them to be like 16 community leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then it makes sense to invite those people. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm like, okay, I get it. It's just really disappointing to me to see players like Dr. Peepee, who kind of disappears from the tournament scene for like 3 or 4 months at a time.
Yeah.
And then comes back and dominates everybody, against somebody like Mango, who's always there.
Right.
And who's always talking. Yeah, he talks about, how he likes when he visits a city, he likes to go get drunk. Like he likes to go out to the bars with everybody.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't fit your family-friendly image. Okay, fine. But seriously, it's Mango. I mean, he's like the number one player.
Well,
I don't know.
Looking from that aspect, I can definitely see Nintendo being
I can imagine a scenario in my head where somebody goes, okay, we're going to invite these people. He goes,
what are they going to do?
Yeah, well, and I can imagine a point, the Nintendo exec goes, that kid, and he points at Mango's picture with him with tattoos all over his body and goes, not getting invited. It was like an immediate veto. I can totally see it.
Yeah,
because
I can see it too.
It's just, Nintendo's so worried about their image, and I just wish that they weren't. Because
which would filter out Mewtwo King in a different way.
Exactly.
Because he's so, like, awkward.
Exactly. He's so awkward. He's very socially awkward. He has autism. He's definitely on that spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel as if, like you said, that's why.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing.
It is.
And you're also missing Leffen, who is, by all accounts, an ass. Like, he's just a terrible person. Whatever, right? But he's a really good player.
Yeah.
And you're missing him because I'm guessing for the same reason. Maybe because he's all the way in Sweden and they don't want to fly him over here. That's a more legitimate reason.
Well, they have another international player, don't they?
Yeah, well, they have Amsa.
Yeah.
The Japanese player. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with the list.
Okay, now the other thing.
Okay.
they announced.
Yeah. The other thing they announced is
4-player items.
Yes. So I was okay with the 16 player on the list, and I was like, all right, we're good. Like, yes, they invited community leaders like Milk Tea. You know, she was in the documentary a lot, and she helped out with the documentary a lot. So I get it. Like, all those players, you want some women representation. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Oh,
whatever.
I can definitely see that.
It. And I'm like, that's awesome that they actually, and they didn't just get women players who were like, oh yeah, like I went to a tournament once. They were like, no, she's a tournament organizer.
Yeah.
You know, she wrote a really important article.
Uh-huh.
They like brought in actual people.
Right.
That was really good.
Yeah.
So my problem is that it's going to be 4-player free-for-all with items on high.
Nintendo, you were so close.
But here's the thing. I understand why they did it. I think it's understandable that they went, okay, we want to have an invitational tournament, we want to do all this stuff, and then they were like, there is no way in hell that the first thing a casual player is going to see about this game is going to be 2 guys on Final Destination with no items. Because what is the main thing that people play Smash for? Casual players. Because the crazy-ass items and the different stages and all this other stuff that the game offers. All of the different characters as well, which is why they're doing this character draft. So that everybody in that 16-player lineup plays a different character.
Oh, they have to play a different character?
Yeah,
oh,
there's no repeats, right? They draft and they play that character throughout the whole tournament. Makes sense. It makes sense that Nintendo wants to do that.
I guess it kind of makes sense, but to me, that is a really 2007 mentality, if you will. From this whole new Smash, it seems like their attention has been getting the competitive community back,
of thing. And it still is, and I would argue it still is because we have these first couple rounds where it's like items on medium. It starts out with items on medium.
Mm-hmm.
The top 2 advance. Then it gets to the quarterfinal or the semifinals and the finals, which is items on low. Right?
Only the final match is one-on-one with no items, right?
The final match is one-on-one, no items, and it says directly in, this is the thing that I think is good. This is why this is good. It says directly in there, grand finale, the grand finals, will be 1v1 battlefield, no items, as a direct homage to the competitive community.
Yeah.
And it says directly in there, in like a note, like, this is because of the competitive community. So grand finals will be no items.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it personally excuses a lot of what happened before. It doesn't excuse all of it. Yes, I was really excited about a 16-player tournament. But what do? They invite actual people from the community.
Yeah.
They give us a grand finals. And they invite, and here's the other part we didn't talk about yet, they invite the actual announcers from the community.
Yeah,
the people that,
I noticed that.
The people that everybody knows.
Right, yeah.
The only outside person in the entire tournament is Jeff Keighley, who's going to be the host of it.
Right.
Right, guy from GameSpot and all that stuff, right? Game trailers or whatever. He's always on Spike. Right, so he is the only outside person.
Yeah.
That's a step up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a step up.
That's true, yeah.
Because when has Nintendo ever directly referenced the competitive community in any way? This is literally the first time. They said, this is a direct homage to the competitive community. That's a huge step forward.
I think it really, like, warmed the hearts of, like, all of this competitive community, seeing all these, like, players presented in such a Smash format in the trailer, you know?
It was great. And the fact that they have, like, you know, when they announce the announcers, they have full, like, title cards.
Yeah, the title slash or the challenger approaching kind of thing.
So
which is pretty darn sweet.
I was a little sad. Like, it showed competitors in 4 in the video, and I was like, oh god, does that mean it's going to be free for all 4? And then it was. I'm still okay with it. I'm a little upset that you know, because really a casual player is probably going to want to see items.
That's true.
I'm a little upset that it's kind of like,
But I mean,
I mean,
they have the Best Buy thing going on at the same time,
well,
for
that's
everyone
true,
to experience.
right, but once again, it's like, is that really the first thing you want a casual player to see? Because then they're going to think it's a game. It's really hard to mix casual and hardcore audiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly hard to do that. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom kind of struggle with sales sometimes because they try to do that.
Yeah, there's nothing casual.
Yeah, like they try to be like, oh, look at how awesome it is, and then they're showing Daigo destroying somebody with Ryu.
Yeah.
And as a casual player, you're like, I could never do that, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So when people tune in to the tournament, does it make more sense to have the tournament be completely competitive, or to have the tournament show off all of the aspects of the game you want it to show off, and then whittle it down to be the most competitive in the grand finals? I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I would have liked no free-for-all, honestly.
I would have even been happier if, I think it would have been better if only 2 rounds were free-for-all.
Okay, yeah, I would appreciate that too.
Because I think the whole thing is just an imbalance of the two.
Yeah.
Because, it's...
Yeah.
The way you look at it, if it's all free-for-all items until the very end, it's like, okay, 80% promotion and then 20% the competitive part.
Well, okay, so I get what you're saying, but even a promotion with the community involved is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And I don't think you can expect Nintendo to be like, yes, we're going to come out, we're going to do everything. Like, the first time we've ever done anything with the community, it's going to be all for the community. Because they still need to promote it.
Yeah.
And so, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that it's understandable that they do all that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a lot of time with no items. And, in fact, I think we're going to get it early. I think Nintendo, this is just a prediction, and I don't know if it's going to come true. I think Nintendo's bringing Smash 4 to EVO. They're already working with EVO.
The new one?
Yeah. They're already working with EVO. I have a feeling that's going to be a surprise that comes up.
I would really look forward to see that because it's going to be such a fresh new thing to look at.
Yeah, and so I really think they're going to bring the new Smash to EVO as well. They already have a working prototype, obviously.
Yeah.
They can bring it to EVO and have people play at EVO.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also think that later on, before the game comes out, we're going to see some more collaboration. Because now the gates are open. Now we know... Now we know Nintendo's not just like, let's invite a bunch of random celebrities. Instead, they were like, let's invite the community. I feel like the gates are open.
Uh-huh.
So we might see some stuff closer to release involving people from the community.
Speaking of seeing some stuff, one thing that also worried me was it set the roster of characters to choose from being all the existent characters. Does that mean we're not going to see anything new or any new character at E3?
No, Rosalina and Luna are on the list. Little Max
no,
on
I
the
mean
list and stuff. Or...
new characters that haven't been revealed yet.
Oh no, I think you are. I just don't think they're going to be playable yet. I think they set the roster for playable characters. If you guys don't know what Paul's talking about, like playable characters in the tournament. There's
in the trailer they listed all the characters that will
be playable. And I think also in the Smash Fest maybe those 16 characters. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I have no idea. But there's 16 characters that'll be playable, and that's because I think there's 16 people.
Oh,
in the tournament.
Is it only 16?
Yeah, there's only 16 players.
Okay, in the I guess it skimmed by. I thought it was the existing characters so far.
No.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, so I think that's why they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that means we're gonna get a couple more reveals at EVO. I think we will.
Yeah.
Or at E3. I think we will.
Yeah, I had no doubt before, but this new trailer that just came out, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, I think we'll get some new character reveals. I hope we will anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what was the last thing that I wanted to talk about with the Invitational? Oh, actually, 2 more things. So, first of all, they said that stages aren't released yet. Now, Grand Final is Battlefield. which we know, which is great. I think that's awesome. I think that's probably the most balanced stage in Smash, and probably both versions.
Yeah.
But so we know Battlefield's going to be grand finale, but they said that the other stages are going to be released later, owing to the rest of it, and that is honestly a little more scary to me than Items is, because if you have some unbalanced ass stages, it's going to just be a clusterfuck. And I have a feeling Nintendo is going to either... Well, I know that they're going to restrict certain items, because they already said they would do that.
Oh, really?
And also, if they allow like these random stages with walk-offs, people are just going to be sitting there and throwing people off the edge, and like... Yeah, it's going to like bring... Because this is a group of more competitive people... Which will do anything to win.
Yeah, of course.
So it's going to bring out a lot of bad memories for people who are like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Unless like Nintendo's really hardcore about, oh, you gotta do things a certain way, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean they might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I hope that the stages that come out are just platforms, or you can do something a little bit out there, but these like don't put in WarioWare.
If I were to be
I mean?
perfectly frank, I'm just not worried about that, since 4-player and items have already been announced.
Okay,
personally.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so last thing we should talk about that's.
Oh yes.
With the Invitational.
Yes.
GameCube adapter.
Ooh.
I am so excited.
And they released a new controller they've been working on. Which is basically a controller with the Melee emblem on it.
It's a Smash emblem on it.
You did this. A Smash emblem. You did this so perfectly.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
No,
this
seriously.
Is so right.
And I love the fact that when they announced it in the trailer, it was like kind of like porn music. Like bedroom music where it bounce. And then it's like the slow roll of the controller.
Hey, this is just as sexy as
really. It was really funny.
Right now.
It was really funny. So yeah, I'm really excited. It looks like it oddly has 2 USB ports that it needs. Like it's so like
it needs 2?
Yeah, it needs 2. Like it hooks up by 2 because you saw the picture, right? It's like the adapter to the controller, but from the adapter to the Wii U, it needs 2 USB cords.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think one is purely for power, and the other one is for like connection and power. But yeah, anyway, so that was like this thing. I think that's why they've been having trouble figuring that out for a while, because there's obviously something with the Wii U architecture that isn't working there.
Maybe, I don't know. I can definitely see they did not have this in mind at all.
Yeah,
when the Wii U came. Well, I guess that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, no, they really, and I think it is.
But it really seems like now they've had a massive change of heart about things.
Yeah,
because they've just worked so hard towards this game, Smash, as well as Smash competitively.
Yeah,
it's really interesting, but wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So super excited for the Invitational. It's Tuesday, June 10th.
It's coming up pretty fast.
I think it starts at noon. But you're going to want to check that out, because I think it's going to be really funny to watch these competitive players play.
Seriously.
Four-player with items, a free-for-all with items. And then Grand Finals will hopefully be awesome. Hopefully. Predictions? Just real quick, do you have any?
I want to see Ken go to the top.
All right. Solid choice.
I don't know if he will, but I'd like to see him go to the top.
I think if anybody can adapt to a game quick enough and find the cheapest strategy, it's going to be Hungrybox.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be Hungrybox. But I think
very adaptive and not
I
too.
feel like he is. Yeah.
He's not too typical of a player.
Yeah. Or the other one that's really good actually is Zero, who just started playing Melee, but is an amazing Project M and a really good Brawl player.
Nice. And
so he kind of is a jack of all trades as well.
Yeah.
Kind of just started Melee, so he's not obviously that good at it. But I feel like he could surprise a lot of people, and I feel like he's going
like
to be
we
good
said
with a lot of different
earlier,
characters.
depending on the pacing of the game, it might flow easier to him more than anyone else.
It really might. It's definitely not going to be as fast as Melee.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere in the middle probably.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely,
that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
because we're going to be able to see a lot of different players.
Yeah.
And it's going to be funny to see what kind of characters they draft. Apparently, it's a draft for the 16 characters, so somebody gets to choose their character, and if they pick if they draw number 1, it's like
that's so
you get
cool.
to pick your character. I don't know. So anyway, watch it. We're super excited.
Yes.
All right. So that took way longer than I expected. I'm really sorry about that, but
anything Smash, that's what happens.
It's so true. It's so true. But our main topic of the evening is Lindsey Stirling.
Hello.
Who is awesome.
Yes.
So,
where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about her new album or the live show?
Well, here's interesting. Where did you first hear about Lindsey Stirling? I'm curious.
Just surfing on the internet. No, actually, IGN posted her video of Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
Her Legend of Zelda cover.
Okay.
And that's where I first caught her.
Okay.
I watched this girl play and dance as Link around the forest, and I'm like, my gosh, you're amazing. I can't comprehend what you're doing right now.
So that's the first video I saw.
Yeah.
And I was just browsing YouTube, and it was on the popular list.
Mm-hmm.
Quick Rising or whatever they call it. And so I just clicked on it, and I was like, this is crazy. Way over the top. What's happening? Hey, this is actually pretty damn good. And then I'm like getting into it, like,
yeah.
So I don't know.
Absolutely.
Lindsey Stirling is one of those things. She's really strange. First of all, she's very unique,
one of a kind in this industry.
Totally one of a kind. First of all, she started completely online, so that's where she got really popular.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of riding the wave of this generation.
You totally are, but it's really cool because she started doing covers and doing that kind of stuff, and then it was like transferred immediately into her first album.
Right.
And riding that momentum, I feel like she did it right. Uh-huh. She had enough fans, but they weren't all saying at the same time, "Oh, why don't you just keep doing covers? Why are you doing original music?"
She didn't get to that point yet.
Exactly. So she was like, "Okay, let's go straight into original music." And then she released a solid first album.
Absolutely.
That is unlike anything I've heard.
Like her is incredibly unique. Yeah. It is violin with massive electronica / dubstep.
It's so weird. But the first time I listened to it, I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah. I could so get into it kind of thing right away. And, I don't know. I just think it's great because, like, besides the piano, what other classical instrument has gotten so much front view?
That's very true. Yeah, and it's really cool that she kind of leveraged this, like, I play this instrument, but I love playing this instrument, and I think it's really good for popular music. And then she actually did that.
Yeah.
That's very cool to me.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, you can tell she just fought for what she loved so hard.
Yeah.
Even though it was, like, nothing ever before, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure she got a lot of, like, strife and discouragement along the way because... Because, I don't know, I feel like in life, so many people are like, if you're not doing what people are successful with now, you won't be successful.
Yeah, well, that's very true.
It's just the opposite, I feel like.
I think that's changing with the internet, though, and I think Lindsey Stirling's a really good example.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, she was like, nah, it's instrumental, but I like electronic music, so we're going to do electronica and violin. And I'm like, that's not... Oh, it totally works.
And I'm going to dance through the whole thing with intricate choreography.
I mean, let's do it, right? Like, who cares? So, I don't know. I mean, for me personally, so awesome. It's just, like, so awesome. And her first album was really, really good. So, I don't know. Let's talk about the second album, I guess.
Sure. Absolutely.
Newly released.
So, I haven't gotten to listen to it as much as the first album.
Yeah, well...
But I did get through the whole thing and was I'm just really, really impressed by it.
Yeah.
The first half of the album, I feel like, was a flawless leeway from the first one, and the tension and tempo was like just subtly rising more and more from the last album. Like there was energy in that, but it was a really like steady, solid beat kind of thing going.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one was more like, okay, let's get the heart pumping a little faster
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. It's like
It was
I feel
definitely
like this was the two towers to its Fellowship of the
I
Ring
can
kind
totally
of thing.
see it. It was definitely more fast paced. I don't know if one of her producers said, "So I really like what you're doing with dubstep. I really like it. Let's put drum and bass in there, like a lot of it." And then it was like that was the second album, and I was totally okay with that.
Yeah.
But there was some of my favorite songs off the first album were not like that. They were very much slow and like
right.
You know, kind of methodical in a way.
Yeah,
It's really
there's that
strange.
one we always said that should have rap in it.
Totally.
With that steady, slow beat, it's like it was like flying something.
It was yeah, exactly. It was like perfect for that.
Kept trying to come up with rap lyrics, but I failed at it miserably.
I'm terrible at that. No,
Yeah.
we're really bad.
Anyway, but yeah, the tempo kept getting faster. There was a couple songs with a lot of lyrics in it as well, and I'm going to talk about Shatter Me a little later, which had to do kind of with the live concert.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that later. I'm not remembering which one, but yeah. So overall,
and then at the very end, the last few songs were incredibly climactic.
Yeah, they really were actually.
Yeah, it was such an intense finish to the album, which like. The first album, it was really good, but it didn't seem conclusive, you know? It's like, we went through this whole album, it's like, oh, that was amazing, and now it's over. But this was like, this is the end of this album, and we're finishing so darn hard.
You know what, I think you're right, actually. Yeah. That's maybe why I like the last couple songs. It's a really good point, actually.
Yeah. Is there any song that really stood out to you? In the second album?
Honestly, not really. No, I haven't listened to it as much, and usually after I listen to it a couple times, that's when I recognize those songs.
That makes sense.
But like, I listened to this album probably twice, fully.
Yeah.
And I think the first time was just like I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the second time was kind of song here, song there. So not really one that sticks out. What's the last song on the album though?
Can't remember the name.
Could bug me.
The incredibly climactic one.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you said, the last couple songs are kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I like that one. And that's gonna bug me. I'm sorry, I don't have it written down. But I like that one a lot. So that might be the standout one, which is weird because I didn't think I was gonna like that one very much. But I don't know why.
But you did.
But I did. Yeah, I think it's the last song. It's the one that starts off kind of slow, but consistently builds.
Yeah.
And it's not until like basically the very end where it's like you said, climactic.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so
the one song that stood out to me almost right away was Swag.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember how that one goes, but immediately the upbeat tempo and rhythm and melody to it totally threw me back into Donkey Kong Country 2. It reminded me of Donkey Kong Country 2 level music so much.
I had an idea of what that song was in my head, and it might not be the same thing now. I don't know. I'll have to listen to it later.
Yeah, but now it just burns in my head. I gotta know, like, because she's obviously a video game fan.
Well,
she
that's
did a
true.
Zelda cover, a Halo cover. I'm like,
very good point.
Do you like Donkey Kong? Is that what that song's about?
Oh man.
No, she actually. That's the first song she like set aside to say a little something about the meanings of her songs, which she did a lot in the live show, and I'm going to get into a lot of that later. But for Swag, pretty much, she was talking about like how she saw Lady Gaga recently, and she was doing a lot of like sexy things or whatever, and she was like, But you know what? I think all of you are sexy because the sexiest thing a person can be is having confidence,
It's true.
kind of thing. And you just gotta let that confidence shine, kind of. And then she went into swag. It's like you gotta have your swag on, you know.
That's actually pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, she is an absolutely incredible person.
Okay, so let's talk about the performance then, because
oh my word.
because I didn't get a chance to go.
Yeah.
But I heard from you, and actually from a couple other people I know too, that it was really, really good. Mm-hmm. It was a good concert.
It was a one-of-a-kind performance that I don't think anyone could ever repeat or get close to. First off, just strictly performance-wise, we're waiting and the show begins. You start hearing a tune and you see like the lights going and stuff, and all of a sudden rising up out of the ground is this elegant silhouette, and she's already moving with her music. And from then on, she put on 100% full energy, moving across the stage with her like backup dancers and everything, just going nuts. And it was absolutely incredible, and just like I can't even comprehend having that much energy for such a long period of time. That's what I was going to say. Which was amazing.
It sounds like this concert is basically like an hour-long version of one of her music videos, and I don't understand how you do that.
No.
I don't understand how that's possible.
It's like, I think, it's definitely a state of mind, and like she has a beautiful state of mind.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see how just like her love of life and just like what she does pushes her through that again and again and again, and she's just like, I can't get enough of this. I love it so much. So she just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing forward. And along with her performance, of course, her incredibly intricate violin and dancing, and there's this massive electronic screen, which like some people have, and you see like little like patterns or shapes or something. Yeah. This brought it to a whole new level because each one had its own flavor and incredibly intricate graphics and views, and it took you to different worlds, which was insane. And a bunch of them took you to her different music videos as well.
That's actually
which was
cool.
Really fun to see.
Yeah.
And at times, I forget which song, but we went into this like glacier area where it was like just moving past the halls of this massive glacier, and she kept herself right in the middle of it, kind of thing. And also in Shatter Me, she retained her position in the globe.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely thought about this a lot. She kept changing costumes and her violins as well as the electronic patterns and stuff, which just blew my mind of really how cool. Incredible it was. But even more incredible than her performance was just her personality. And almost right away you learned of how special of a person she is. She, which no other like band has done before. She made the concert really personal and sincere. After a couple songs, she just pulled up a home video thing of her growing up, kind of thing, just showing a little about her. And then through the concert, she just kept sharing stories of what these different songs meant to her. One that really stood out was the story of this one fan who's just a little boy who's getting bullied in school a lot, to the point where he was considering committing suicide. And she just talked about how painful that was, and she went into like the struggles of her own life and just said, looking back, there was always a friend there helping out for me. And even more than that, I know I could always turn to God for support. Which I was like, oh my gosh, that's such an encouragement for, I don't know, someone to say something like that while she's so high in the spotlight, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Again and again, we see artists just kind of lose themselves, you know, just go through the routine. But no, this is a part of her life. She's awake, alive, and she hasn't lost herself at all, you know? And the other part that stood out to me was Shatter Me, where she said it was one of her most personal songs because it, she was saying that for a certain amount of time, she was kind of the person trying to be what people wanted her to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I can see that.
Putting on a shell.
I feel like like record company execs would be all over that.
Oh yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Hands
to me.
down, I don't know. I feel like big name producers ruined a lot of my favorite bands
Yeah.
at certain points.
No, I totally see it. Yeah.
But no, she just talked about that, like how the music video represented a dream of hers of a doll with flawless porcelain skin in this bubble, just safe in her bubble,
Yeah.
but static and cold, you know. And she just talked about the process of fighting so hard to just break that bubble,
Yeah,
and shed the perfect skin that everyone wanted to see, you know. And I feel like all of us can relate to that. Like you, me, everyone. Like our interests, they're not. Most people would say they're not the popular interests.
Most people?
A lot of people, you know? And
Yeah.
I think we all struggle with that, you know? Trying to truly be ourselves in the outside world, it is such a difficult thing. But she really inspired me with, like, the story as well as presenting her music video at that very moment of her just breaking through the glass, you know, because nothing will ever happen if we stay behind that glass bubble, you know.
That's pretty cool. I think that's really awesome that she kind of took the opportunity at a concert to do that.
Yeah. So she's nothing short of a blessing to her community. Hands down, awesome. Probably the most inspirational person I've seen in this industry. You know, I mean, it gives me hope for just life in general, for my beliefs and the things I love, and even for this show, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're making our way to step out of the bubble and pursue something amazing.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Lindsey Stirling, for that. It was the greatest pleasure of all to see you live.
Yeah. Well, that's really awesome. So, I guess Lindsey Stirling would be totally awesome to see live. Do you know when and where she's going to be concert-wise?
What do you mean?
Like, do you know if she's, like, touring right now? Or is she just in Phoenix for...
Oh, no, she's touring. I didn't really look at the rest of her stuff.
Oh, okay, but she's currently touring, like, right now.
She's going to be doing some international stuff pretty soon. And
that's so awesome.
It is. It is.
Here's the other question I had is, how big was the venue?
Marquee Theater.
Wow.
But it was insanely packed.
Really?
When I got there, it was like 30 minutes before doors opening. And, 30 minutes before doors opening, the Marquee parking lot was full.
Holy crap.
I had to drive my fastest through some random parts of Mill and stuff to get into a random parking lot that I had no idea existed. I'm like, oh, parking lot. Okay, I just got to get in there. And I ran the entire Tempe Beach Park Bridge.
Wow. Just to get there?
I got in line sitting on the bridge.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, 30
Yeah.
minutes before.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. I've never seen marquee theater that packed.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really awesome, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. The reason I ask is that I want to see her be successful.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So I'm
I
like
think we
really
all do,
excited.
you know?
Yeah. So I'm like really excited that seemed to go really well.
Yeah.
That's really
It was
cool.
absolutely incredible. I don't know. I just can't get over it, you know? Like, I've never been to a show like this.
That's really
like
awesome.
I wish more artists would just open up like that and make the show something not so like what is it, like factory line, you know, just going through each one plop.
No,
plop,
I
plop,
get
you
that.
know?
I get that. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely wears on you, but it gives you the chance to like open yourself up to many people who first just love you for the things you've created, but then you have an opportunity to have them get to know you and love you as a person.
Yeah.
You know? I think a lot of shows are wasted just running through it, you know?
Yeah.
They could take a hint from you, Lindsey Stirling.
Yeah. All right, so if you all of her albums are just easily on iTunes, so go check them out.
You can look
They're
on
really,
Spotify
really fucking
too.
awesome. Yeah, they're on Spotify as well. So.
But I'd say buy them because
yeah,
support this girl.
They're totally
She's
worth it.
Incredible.
Both the albums are really, really good.
And if you have not seen her live, not only will she be a massive amount of entertainment, she will be a great amount of inspiration and encouragement through everything you're dealing with in your lives, you know. I think she can help us break out of all of our bubbles, you know.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess that's the end of this episode. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I guess not.
Okay. All right. So we want to hear your thoughts about Lindsey Stirling. If you've seen her live,
do you agree?
Do you agree? Yeah, that's a good one. Do you agree?
And
if you've listened to her albums, how freaking awesome are they? You should tell us.
And if you don't agree with her live performance, what's wrong with you?
Paul's like rocking back and forth, like I don't understand how you.
No, you cannot not love this girl. I'm telling you, people. I'm telling you right now. She's just a wonderful person. All
right, so yeah, if you want to talk to us about Lindsey Stirling or anything else, any of our other podcasts, well, first of all, the website, thefanvoice.com, where we post news articles and everything else.
Yep.
You can see all of our other social media, like
Facebook.com/thefanvoicepodcast, YouTube.com/thefanvoicepodcast, Twitter @fanvoicepodcast.
Yeah.
We did it! Yeah!
And, of course, our email, if you want to write us a novel about Miss Stirling, you can write us at fan@thefanvoice.com.
Yep.
So, yeah. I guess we'll see you guys
next time.
Next week for number 11. I don't have a name for it.
From here on out, it's double digits.
It's double digits. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.